Welcome. I'm the Gorgeous Gamer, and this is a Taste of, where I give you a quick sample of a current game, going over 5 points of interest while showing you some footage to boot. Today, we taste Cyberpunk 2077. Post patches. Cyberpunk 2077 is a third-person action-adventure game set in a massive open world, obviously of the future, with elements seen in other RPGs such as things like skill trees, weapons, armor, crafting, but things like body augmentation. Cyberpunk 2077 ambitiously tries to set itself apart from other really great open world games like AC, Red Dead Redemption, Grand Theft Auto, and many others. One of the most engaging elements of the game is the story choices during not only your character creation and gameplay, which affect everything around you and actually have true consequences. Let's go ahead and dive in.
Graphics. I don't have a rig that can run this in ultra. I don't know many people that do, but even on high settings, this game is a beast of beauty. There is so much detail in this game that just walking around the city can get you lost in its wow factor. In fact, you could do nothing but walk around in this game and never get bored. There is always something happening on your screen that draws your eyes to it. The city's different quadrants really give a nice change of scenery, from the harsh deserts on the outskirts of downtown to downtown Night City. It's just all very distinctive and all so well put together.
V, one and only.
Sound.
Ted.
I am so
Go
happy
Teddy.
that I bought the
Get in.
special edition
I'll
of
give you the
this
brief.
game that provided all of the music, because the soundtrack is amazing. Riding around town, just popping through the radio and its plethora of stations and channels, I still can't get over how real that feels. There is so much music in this game. The gunplay and melee combat all is also very satisfying. Hearing the blast of grenades or using your body augments to scan and jump, it has a really cool feel to it and sound. The bustle of the city as you drive or run around is endless, and the amount of dialogue with the NPCs really does make the city feel alive instead of just people walking about. The voice acting, superior. Probably one of the best I've ever seen in a game. CD Projekt Red's Witcher series placed a lot of emphasis on dialogue, and it feels like they did this and came out with a movie style quality when it came to their sound.
Dog needs orders, that's all. And when he outlives his purpose,
Story.
we'll flat
The
fire.
game is packed with something to do everywhere you turn. I said earlier that you could never get sick of looking around because something is happening. 9 times out of 10, something that is happening you will be able to interact with because it is a quest or a storyline of some sort. If you're a completionist, this game has so many side quests and optional quests. You definitely can stray away from the main campaign, and it just feels like it could go on forever in a good way. The progression is fast but slow when it comes to the main campaign. Let me put it this way. The prologue and tutorial itself is a full act of the game, but once you get through that, the others seem to go quickly, especially if you avoid the optional side quests. I never felt that any of the quests were repetitive either, even when you're doing specific jobs for different head honchos in different districts. Perhaps it was just the different detail within the city, or the city's gangs, or the gangs that I was fighting against, but everything about the environment. Let's say I was hacking a computer in a gym full of animals, it felt completely different versus infiltrating a high-rise in the Tiger Claws territory doing the exact same thing. The story definitely has its twists and turns, and while I will not spoil anything, I played through the main story and pretty much all of its side quests, and I constantly thought to myself, damn, I want to play this again and specialize in something different and choose a different life path. That says a lot to me in regards to the options within the story and how it played out. Everything is engaging, and it really is an experience unlike anything I've ever played. Gameplay. Magnificent. The combat felt sharp and tight, better than other first-person shooters I've played in certain aspects. Whether you're fighting with a katana or a shotgun, the controls feel good, easy to navigate, especially given that there are so many things to use. The driving also felt really fun and natural. Cars and bikes, they had a very distinctive feel and a different weight about them. The crafting system, I only really got into a little bit because I found that I could either buy or I found upgrades much easier than crafting. The skill tree was, in my opinion, a complete hit or miss. Some trees felt like they were almost all passes that didn't really do a whole lot, except for change base numbers. And then others just felt like a complete sink point of points in order to actually get to the good stuff. And given you're only allowed to pick so many, and being a jack of all trades can hurt you in the long run of the game, you're kind of forced early to pick and stay with whatever category you're going to choose from. Respecking is super expensive, and unfortunately when you respec, it doesn't reset your attribute points, which this can leave you gimped if you decide to go a different path, which actually benefits from a different attribute for optimization. In some areas I felt like gear may drop in almost every gunfight, where then I was constantly looking back in my inventory, but 9 times out of 10 I felt that the gear was such a minor upgrade that I didn't have to do that if I didn't want to. Pros. A constant emotional elevator with so many great moments within the main story and the side quest, you can't help but be engaged the entire time you play. Simply playing to see the beauty and the detail of the game is worth the purchase alone, in my opinion. The cons, as you probably guessed, the bugs. You've likely heard the stories, seen the headlines. I myself didn't experience any massive issues actually until after the patch which was supposed to fix the bugs. After that, my game would crash constantly, where I pretty much shelved it for about a month or so until more patches came out which finally fixed the problem. Other issues I have are just minor quality of life stuff. I felt like the game tried to go so far with jam-packing everything in that sometimes it forgot about the simple things like being able to respect your character, having to use a wardrobe to change what your character looks like, skills, perks, and attributes being a little bit less but more detailed and actually having an impact in your character, or the ability to be able to be more of a jack of all trades if you wanted to, so you're not forced to play 3 or 4 or 5 times through if you really don't want to.